Okay, let's try to do this in one shot so I don't have to edit the video. I don't know why I get so many questions about the new Stradic from Shimano when it's obvious that it's not an ultralight reel, and if you know anything about my channel, my expertise is pretty much ultralight fishing. So I'm really not the best person to ask about this reel, but these questions are just relentless, 2 or 3 every week ever since Shimano started showing these ads about the reel. So here are my quick thoughts about the reel. If you compare the new Stradic and the new Vanford, geometrically and mechanically they are very similar reels. If you put both of them on paper side by side, they look nearly identical because you can't tell from the paper which part is different, but geometrically they look the same. As a matter of fact, their gears and many other parts, not just the gears, but the gears, which is the most important part of the reel, one may say, the gears are exactly the same. And many other parts are exactly the same. Small parts, plastic parts, exactly the same. But there are 3 very important differences between the 2 reels that make them completely different products. Whatever application you're thinking of, if one of the reels is good for that application, the other reel will be bad. They're kind of complements, but not alternatives. You should not think ever that the Vanford and the Stradic are alternatives and you can go either way. The 3 most important differences, I will probably start in order of importance. The most important difference is the rotor. The Stradic has a heavier, stronger rotor. This stopping power that everybody wants, I need stopping power. I can't catch a fish to save my life, but I need stopping power. Give me stopping power. The less experienced the angler, the more stopping power they need. Anyway, the most important thing for stopping power is not the little felt or carbon disc inside the reel, it's the strength of the rotor. Because you put 10 pounds of force on the little line roller and the whole arm will snap. Well, for saltwater fishing, you do need stopping power, legitimately. This is not bluegill and crappie. So Shimano built a stronger rotor to actually legitimately have stopping power. And that's it. The rotor of the Stradic is stronger but heavier. Now for ultralight fishing, the single most devastating thing you can do to a reel to kill the user experience for ultralight fishing is heavy rotor. The weight of the frame, not so important, but you put a heavy rotor, now it's difficult to get it going. When you get it going, it's difficult to stop it. How do you do twitching of 1 gram jigs with a heavy rotor? It's very, very unpleasant. So this is the first difference. Vanford has one of the lightest rotors in the industry. And the Stradic has, I don't want to say one of the heaviest, but much heavier, if stronger, rotor. The second difference is the frame. Vanford has a very light carbon frame. The Stradic has a pretty heavy aluminum frame. Now again, aluminum frame is all good if you're trying to stop a fish, because you can cinch on the drag and the rotor is not gonna snap and the gears, which are on like 90-degree angle inside of a spinning reel, when you're winching on the handle, the pinion is actually 90 degrees from the handle, from the main gear. So you need strong frame so they don't move inside the reel and stay properly aligned, so the reel feels nice when it's well loaded. Nothing wrong with aluminum frame, but for ultralight fishing we don't need strength. So why the extra weight? How do you put a 185-gram reel without the line? By the time you put a line, this thing will be 190 grams, almost. On a 42-gram, one of these rods over there, Presso Air AGS, 42-gram rod, how do you put 190-gram reel on it? So it's too heavy, unnecessarily heavy. I will say though that the weight of the frame is not that important as the weight of the rotor, because it doesn't move. You can feel it in the hand, but it doesn't kill the fishing experience in itself. So if you were fishing with a heavier rod, cheaper rod, like something from Bass Pro Shops for $60-70, then the weight of the frame, if you had a lighter rotor, wouldn't be a big problem. But anyway, this is the second difference between the two reels. Aluminum frame, more weight in the Stradic. The third difference, that is kind of surprising that such a small difference can have such a big effect, is the Vanford has low rolling resistance bearings. It's easy to spin. The Stradic has these shielded bearings that have some kind of lubrication inside. They are designed, again, nothing wrong with that, but they're designed to have protection from salt if salt were to reach the bearing. Again, if you fish salt water, that's a good thing to have. If you fish for bluegill in freshwater streams here in Tennessee, why have the resistance that comes with shielded, lubricated bearings? And these bearings are particularly, what word should I, not invasive, but intrusive or obtrusive or obnoxious, I don't know. The effect of these bearings is very strong, because if you compare the new Stradic with the new Sahara, the Sahara is actually a heavier reel, but it's a freshwater reel, doesn't have any seals and doesn't have any shielded, lubricated bearings. And the resistance in the Sahara is actually much lower, and the Sahara is much more enjoyable for ultralight fishing than the Stradic by far. They're not even competitors. The new it's not new anymore, but the newest Sahara 2022 makes a much better ultralight reel than the new Stradic. So how to sum it up? You already see the picture. Vanford finesse freshwater reel. It's a reel for sensitivity, for joy, for pleasure, for good freshwater fishing user experience. The Stradic is a saltwater workhorse. That's what I would use if I want. It's still a smooth reel, strong reel. If I were fishing for, let's say, if I were targeting like a 5 to 10 pound redfish, I would use like a 2500 size Stradic. It would be a perfect reel for that. But Stradic, for some reason, has a nasty resistance. If you used the old Stradic, you remember how nasty and strong the resistance was of the old Stradic. The new Stradic kept all of the nastiness. The gears are now much smoother than the old Stradic gears. But the nastiness, man, it's like the body of the reel is full with honey. Honey, and it makes such resistance to turn the reel. It is out of the question to consider this reel for ultralight fishing and even for bass fishing. Again, the Sahara, much better reel for bass fishing, for anything freshwater fishing. What about the new Legalis? The new Legalis costs $60–70 depending on where you buy it. So it's 2 or 3 times cheaper than the Stradic. The new Legalis is also lighter than the Stradic. The resistance is incomparably lower. I mean, the new Legalis is in every measurable way better than the Stradic FK. I don't know if it's FK, than the new Stradic. And it's 2 or 3 times cheaper. So anyway, the video is getting too long and I'm starting to repeat stuff. But the Stradic, the new Stradic and the aluminum Stradics are a saltwater workhorse designed for heavy workloads. Not for finesse, just do not consider them for anything freshwater, for anything where you want touch and light rotation and pleasure. Okay? That's it. Thanks for watching.